that there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Nothing wrong with it.
because
Yeah,
it,
that you said
just,
that too, because that was going to be one of my questions. Like, what would you say to moms? Because I mean, I'm not a mom, so, but
Hmm.
I know that's what comes with purpose. Like some moms won't pursue their purpose because they had a child early, or because they have to pay for their children, or I just hear so many different things, and I'm like, you know me, I want everybody to operate on purpose. So it's like I
Sure.
feel like you're doing your children or your family and the
a
people you're called
service.
to serve a
You
disservice
are.
by not operating on purpose.
You are. Because I'm looking at my daughter, specifically my daughter. I say my son grew me up and my daughter made me a woman.
Right.
Um, and because she's going to be a reflection of me in some ways. However, as a parent now, I told somebody this and they thought I was crazy and I didn't care. I said, so it's not my job when you talk about purpose. It's not my job to tell my children what to do with their lives. It's only my job. That's between them and God. I don't know what God told them to do with their lives, even at the ages that they're at. That's between them and God. If he wanted me to know, he would have told me. My job as a parent is to instill core values into my children so that whatever they decide to do, they will do it successfully. So if my son wants to be a doctor, okay. If he wants to be the next Ronald McDonald, that's fine too. That's not my business. I can have a preference and say being a doctor is safe or whatever. But if I teach him how to be diligent, how to be respectful, on time, be good with his money, tell the truth, be a man of integrity, it doesn't matter if he decides to be Ronald McDonald or Doctor whatever, he still will maintain those core values. And so then he'll be Ronald McDonald and he can make a whole lot of money. I say that all the time. He can make money and take care of mommy. Ronald McDonald got money, okay? So I'm not mad at him being a clown. I just want to make sure that I'm building a solid person. I don't look at my son as just my son, though that's my grandchildren's father.
That's
That's not even my son. That's my grandchildren's father. That's my legacy. So he's going to be an adult longer than he's a kid. So of course I want him to be a kid and enjoy things, but I always operate in saying that at the age that they're at is where I want them to be at the top tier of that age. So if at 10, I feel like you should know how to wash dishes and you should know how to do this and do that, and that's what we're going to do. And I'm not going to let my experiences or insecurities get in the way of what they need. And one of the things that they need is to see it, not for me to just talk it. So they need to see me at the studio. They need to see me operating in purpose. They even need to see me sometimes being upset and sad because they need to understand that that's a part of it. I think sometimes when people say, I'm not saying dysfunction, toxic, but what I'm saying is kids need to see the range of emotions because they need to be able to identify with it when it happens to them because we know it's going to happen. You're going to have a day that you don't feel like, doing something. What does that look like? Okay, well, my mom would have a bad day. She still loved and kissed us, but she would stay in the bed. But the next day, she gave herself 24 hours. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself 24 hours to feel down, and then we getting back up and fighting to live another day. And so I don't think that I think sometimes as parents, specifically moms, we try to say, oh, my kids are my life and stuff. And I think that's really unhealthy. I'm sorry. I think it's unhealthy because it tells your children that at the beginning of parenthood is the end of you until the end of you raising them. So that means I have no identity in the midst of that. And I don't want to teach my kids that. I want them to fully embrace everything that they're doing with the same level of integrity, but be good parents, but still live for yourself because you don't know what can happen. So, and the best way to show them is to do it.
right. That's so good. What you were saying, literally, we talked about this in the last episode, like
Okay.
focusing on the unseen. Like your son becoming a doctor, that's cool. There's so many doctors in America, but the ones that stand out are the ones that have the integrity, right? The ones that, you know, are honest and
Yeah.
truthful and stand for something. Those are the ones that we hear about. Those are the ones that are heroes and things like that. And like I was talking to Marquita and telling her like a lot of us focus on so many things that we can see, like the title versus like who you are when you receive the title. And we were talking
Mhm.
about like basically how we felt like God stripped us before we got to where we are now. And we're glad because it would have been another story. Like it would have been
Listen,
would have been a lot of
listen.
shade moves, a lot of
She a part of the club too. We was wild out
Oh
here.
my
We was crazy,
gosh.
reckless with our mouths. Everybody.
listen.
Everything. I can completely relate. And I think that's probably why I'm so intentional now and crazy
Yes.
even. about certain things. But for sure, I think one of the things that I want to make sure is that I don't project my own stuff on other people. And
Mhm.
the closest people to me that I can do that to, my immediate family. And so
Right.
I'm always in like checking myself mode, like, why am I saying this to my kids? Or why am I saying, like, is that them or is that me?
Me. Wow.
And sometimes as a mom too, I can make their stuff my stuff, which sometimes it's not for me either. I don't care if you're 10 or 8 or whatever. Like, go to your room and deal with that, but they need healthy models of what that looks like, right? We all have day. I think about food. Like, I love food. I can't eat certain things after 2 or 3 times of eating them. I'm good for leftovers for sure, but like after that, like third day, I'm like, all right, I need something else. But like, your kids don't always want to eat certain things. So there has to be an understanding. Like, I was teaching my kids about diligence, and I was like, I have to give them grace and knowing that sometimes they don't want to eat that. Just like you don't want to eat that. They're little people and they're figuring it out. So what does it look like? You have to demonstrate that. And so when you talk about purpose, it's the same thing. What does a woman who has a goal look like? What does she do? Does she get up early? Does she, plan her day out?
Mhm.
Does she, talk, and say does she do what she says she's going to do? Does she take breaks? Does she take a nap? Does she take vacations? What does that look like? And the best model is me to teach my children that, because I'm teaching my son what to look for in the mother of his children, and I'm teaching my daughter who to be. So then that goes back to me not making it about me, but just modeling and demonstrating what I want them to see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Another question I have for you, what does support look like for you?
Mm. Good.
So yeah. So I'm a different kind of girl. I think so my love language, I'm telling y'all my love language. My love language.
Tell us
We
your
can still love
language.
a boy. You even
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. My love language is words of affirmation
Mm.
and physical touch, but words of affirmation being first, because I just need to hear, like, just let me know I'm not crazy a little bit. Like,
Right.
is does this skirt look cute? Like, being neutral doesn't help me. Like, I mean, it's all right. That ain't gonna help me. Actually, I'm gonna be like, well, then it must not be cute. But
Right.
I think that's big for me in terms of support from other people. Just Marquita does this to me sometimes. Just randomly will like say something that I need to hear, and I'm like the ugly war cry, like, oh Jesus, hallelujah. But at
I
the
love
same,
it.
yeah, at the same time, I think support for me just within my close circle is really just the check. I don't mind being checked, if that makes sense. In
Mhm.
fact, I desire it because I don't want to walk around with a run in my stockings and I ain't know. That's probably the worst thing that can happen, is something's going on and I didn't see it. I didn't recognize it. And so supporting is saying, listen, I really love that song. Okay, that's support. But also other support is like, hey girl, I seen you do better and I know you could do better. Or the way you
Mhm.
talk to that person, I don't think it was really cool. Cause I'm gonna be like, really? You think so? Yeah, cool, got it. And that takes trust. I have to trust the
I
person
was
to,
about to say that
yeah,
takes
Right.
trust.
because everybody can't say something to me, because for me it's the integrity and the quality of the relationship. So
Right.
if, for instance, if Marquita called me and said, hey girl, that thing you posted on social media, honestly, that it wasn't cool. I'm like, oh Jesus, I gotta fix it. But if someone
Right.
random say something, I'm like,
Right.
okay, I don't care. So I think support for me is just those words, letting me know where I'm at. And so I'm very transparent about where I'm trying to go, so that people along the way can like give me a barometer and say, hey, I saw your show 2 years ago. I saw it yesterday. You have grown. Bet. Whatever I've been doing, let me keep doing that, because so and so remembered and they brought it to my attention. So that's one way. And just I think I don't really ask for much, but when I do, it probably means I really need it. So, I think that's another way of support. So it just depends on the relationship and the person. But people can support me by going to download music too. So, if you're just asking for the masses, y'all can go and run them numbers up. So,
Random
yeah,
numbers.
run them numbers up.
I heard it. Just
Yeah.
keep playing on
Yes.
every platform.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Keisha,
I
did you
love
have
that.
anything else?
Yeah, this is probably a good question to end it with,
Mhm.
is what advice would you give women in this month? Like, you know, I feel like this is an important month, and I wish it was highlighted more in media and things like that. But what advice would you give to the women that are going to be listening to this podcast, like
Yeah.
for them to remember in this month?
I think that in this month, you know, is women's history. So we look back at people that came before us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we have to be, I'm reading this book called Control Girl.
Oh,
And it's about, it's biblical, like a biblical based book, but it's just talking about how we think that we're basically in control and how we do things. And I like it so far. I
wait,
haven't
what's the name of the book? I need it.
It's
Control Girl.
it's
Control
called
Girl.
Control
Because I
Girl.
think I'm in
Control
control of
Girl.
that.
Girl, yes. And I'm big, Miss Control freak, literally. But I think that I'm saying that to say that as a woman, we are so dynamic. We have so many roles, so many faces, so many things that we have to do. But I will say that the best relationship that I've ever had is the one with myself. And I think that as I've grown, I've realized that I've run all over the world, whether it's through artistry, kids, men, you know, friends, whatever. I've looked for everything when, girl, I'm about to tear up. When
Oh
everything
no.
that I needed was right here. Like every single thing was already put inside of me. So when you talk about women's history or women's month, um, I appreciate the women before me. And the one thing I want to take from them is that ultimately it's right. It's already there. It's
Right.
already there. And you just have to like not be afraid of it. I'm not afraid of the ugly parts of me like I used to be. I'm not even trying to cover them up. I just try to be intentional about fixing them and really like loving on myself. And I think when I'm intentional about doing that, I'm better in every realm. So now I'm making history because everything I do and everything I touch is very authentic and genuine. It's not a stress, it's not a struggle. It's me loving on myself. So giving myself room to fail, but not giving myself too much room to like be sloppy with it, right? And fix it. And fixing it not because they said I needed to fix it, but fix it because I just love me and I just want to be better for me. I say this all the time with my kids. I will die for my kids, but I ain't going to jail for my kids. I can just tell you that right now. I'll come and visit them because I wasn't made for jail. I wasn't made for prison. And I'm only saying that to say like I will put myself on the line for people, but I want to live for me because I was here. I was in before my mother met me. I was with me inside of her. So I have always been with me, which means that I've been with me the whole time. Every single thing. And so it's in me. And so when I allow myself to love on me and love the God in me, it then allows me to be every facet of being a woman. And I don't have to beg and pull and cry and manipulate because we got to deal with that manipulation spirit that we sometimes have. We don't call it manipulation, but it is. We deal with all of that. And so I think if just women just really, really learn to like deal and dig, and I'm talking about them ugly places and get down in there and then just build back out. Like at the core of everything, listen, I'm an icon in the making. That's what I call myself. I'm an icon in the making. And that is not because of any talent, anything like that. It's just because I'm intentional and because I was made to just be Patrice. And she is great. And she's dope and she's crazy and she's messy and she's, you know, whatever. But she is dope. And as long as you know that, whatever you decide to do is just fine, for sure.
That. Oh my God, girl.
I know, right?
I got goosebumps all over my body.
It's the
So
truth.
encouraged by
It's
you,
the
girl.
truth.
You just
Yes. Well,
It's the
tell
truth.
everybody where they can find you, where they can stream your music and run it up.
Yes, absolutely. So all of my music, I'll be releasing some new music this year. But I have 2 albums out that are on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, all those outlets. So you can just search PatriceLive, no space, PatriceLive, so you can run those numbers up. I think everyone's favorite song is for sure "Dope Gold" or "Wonder
listen.
Woman."
Go
Yeah, Dope
listen to
Gold.
that song. It's so
Yeah,
good. Oh my God.
yeah,
We
yeah.
should
That was
probably make
written.
Wonder Woman our theme song for the.
I would love that. Would be Amazing.
Run
Yes.
it up.
Girl,
Can we get
girl.
permission? Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm giving it on camera permission. Absolutely. Wonder
Yes.
Woman. And you can look for, I produced quite a few music videos, for the albums. So you can go on YouTube and just search Patrice Live and those videos will come up. So run them numbers up. You can follow me on Instagram at Patrice_live, LIVE. And just follow me. I'm so excited about the things that I'm rolling out this year. So you'll see something. I've been quiet, but people close to me know that when I'm quiet, that means that I'm getting busy. Marquita knows. One of my other girlfriends texted me and said, I know you got some wild coming because you ain't been saying nothing on social media, and it's intentional.
Quiet for almost a year now.
Yeah, I have. I've been reading, I've been studying, I've been praying because I'm ramping up for what will be like this next run of my work. But it's going to come in a different way, and it's going to come in a way that's not heavy like it was. It'll be responsibility. It'll be hard, but not heavy. It's the difference between being hard and something being heavy. And this is going to be hard, but not heavy. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think too. Oh yeah, we definitely have to bring her back. I was going to say it definitely grows with where you are, because one album was, dissecting something else. One album.
Girl.
So now the evolution of you being at peace and now one with yourself and loving up on yourself, especially within this year, is evolving in your music. So I'm happy to hear it. I can't wait.
Yes, I thank you. And I thank you all for having me, and Marquita for sure. I think I've told this story before, but we randomly met at this function and she was just like, can I pray for you? And I was like, what? Wow. She started speaking to me and she was saying things. She didn't know anything about me, but she was saying things that I need to hear, which I know was God using her. Right. And I was in the corner about the boo-hoo, ugly cry, everything.
Crying, y'all. She was just like trying to keep it cute.
Girl. And then after a certain point, I just cried and I was like, can I have your number? Can you be my, like, it's like that. And so to end for real, outside of loving on yourself, get with some solid women. Get with some solid women. Yes. Create. It don't have to be 10 of them. We always think quantity. It's really quality, right? And know who is who. Everybody is not like your bestie, and that's okay. Some people are associates. Some people are affiliates. Some people are business partners. Some people are people that you don't talk to every day, but when you talk, it's very, very impactful.
That's us. Me and her don't talk often. But I already ran it up. I already like, okay, this what happened. This what we need to work on. This what
absolutely. And that's important to have when you accept that and you accept like different people who serve different purposes. Like it's easier to navigate, but get you some good, solid women in your life and you'll know that they're solid because you will attract what you are. I was ready to receive Marquita that day because I was open enough to receive her. And I've grown as a woman because I'm open enough and growing myself to receive that. So get you some good women in your circle and love on you. I think that's the only message I have. And clean up what you got. If you trying to grow something, clean up what's already there and use what you already have. That's what I'll say.
All right. Well, drop the mic then. Thank you so much, Patrice.
Thank y'all.
Have an amazing year full of purpose. And I'm decreeing and declaring that it's going to be the best year to start. This is it. This is just a start.
Yes.
And I cannot wait till we go on tour and I get to be in the VIP.
Yes. I receive that. I receive it all. I receive it all. I receive it all. Thank you. And blessings to you all for continuing to do what you do. I don't care if it's one person listening or 1 million people listening. Keep doing what you're doing. It will show up. It shows up. It shows up. So keep doing what you all are doing. And I might need somebody to get me in shape. I ran track, but I used to play basketball and I've been looking for somebody to just put my butt on the court so I can get better and we can talk offline.
Yes, I'm a makeup artist too. Let me know if you need your makeup done. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, she does makeup.
I'm very sick. So you gonna whip my butt in basketball, then do my makeup? That's how we rocking. That's how you gonna fry me on the court and then beat my face? You just beating me up in every angle. I accept it though. As long as it gets my booty in shape and makes my face look cute, I will receive that.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Awesome, ladies. Make sure you follow Patrice and
Yes, please.
share this
Yes.
podcast episode. I hope it was helpful. And
Yes.
until then, we out of
We
here.
out of
Yes.
here.
Bye,
See
guys.
ya.
Next episode.